Hello, my friends. It's me, Drew Michael, and this is Make Sense with Me, a podcast where we thought we had already recorded an episode for this week, and it turns out it was an episode I recorded with my mom, and I'm not sure if I can release it because I haven't listened to it yet, but B, I didn't ask her permission because I didn't think she would want to record with me, and so now I have to edit it, get it to a place where it sounds nice, and then say, hey mom, the other day when we were hanging out, when you were visiting, I recorded you the whole time and I made an episode out of it, and I will not post it without your consent, but I did want to let you know, and I think it's really good and I really want to post it, but I'm going to let you listen to it first so that you can A, see what I fucking do, and B, give me your blessing and consent to post. I do sneaky shit like that sometimes, and it's probably that's where the crime is, right there where you record without someone's consent, although I'm not really sure what the laws are in Michigan, and my mom doesn't live in Michigan, so does it count if she's visiting? I don't know. I know in South Carolina I could record a whole group of people if just one person gave their consent. Isn't that weird? Some backward shit. I know there's really, really strict recording laws in California, but I'm assuming my mom doesn't want to sue me. She might be embarrassed, but I literally said, Mom, do you want to be on the podcast? And she was like, oh, I can do podcasts. I have a phone. And I said, no, Mother, you don't understand what I'm asking you. I want you to come on as my guest on an episode, and would you be willing to do that? I really want to have you on. And she just got obviously really nervous, self-conscious. She's like, oh, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I don't know what I'd say, and I don't, I'd feel silly or whatever. And I was just like, this is exactly why I have to record you without your consent. Also, I got my mom saying a bunch of really cool shit before I hit record, and then once I hit record, it wasn't nearly as interesting. Like, she was talking about, like, tawdry shit, and I was just like, what? Anyway, so, I probably should try to record her in person, or like when she knows it's happening, and see how that goes too. But we'll just see. I'm pretty sure my mom will forgive me. I've never done anything too bad in my whole entire life, and compared to my brothers, I've been a fucking angel. So anyway, how did I start talking about that? I found out just this week that there is such thing as baby groundhogs, and of course, but like, never have I ever seen a baby groundhog, and they're like tiny little groundhogs. They're so fucking cute, and I don't know how many are in like a litter, but there'd be like a mama groundhog. She'd be like sniffing around and chewing on clovers in the grass near the woods line. I say that like I fucking know anything about what's outside my window. And the babies, there'd be like a bunch of little babies, and they just like kind of saunter out, and then they like squiggle back to the wood line, and it was like they were like scary little babies. They're so fucking cute. Like, the amount of like adorable little animals you can see from my actual I'm gonna go this way, from my actual window at my work, like from the window. It's not my office, but like in the building, you can look out and see oh god, sorry, I'm looking at this sticker on the back of this person's car, and it says Salt Life, and I'm just like, oh god, where am I? I was afraid for a second I was in South Carolina, because they have that shit everywhere in South Carolina. It's like the salt of the ocean, Salt Life. And it used to look, the way they write it, it kind of looks like it says Shit Life. And I always used to think it said shit life. And I didn't like living there, so I was like, yeah, that's about right. Anyway, then I was looking to see if they had a South Carolina plate. I'm sure Salt Life is a thing all over. It's just like people that love the beach. Oh, I love the beach. I tan and I love the beach. I also love the beach, but like once or twice a year, you know? I wouldn't want to live there. I did live there and I never went. You know? And also, I love a beach where you can like dance around in a sarong, or maybe like be like a little nudie patootie, and then like smoke a little weed vape, and then like drink a little claw, and then like be super gay. But like none of that was happening in South Carolina. You couldn't do any of that shit in South Carolina. So I was just kind of like, oh, all right. I left work, and I left work because I had just fucking had it. I had been there for 8 hours, so I was like, I deserve to leave. But I left work because I was working and doing some of my best creativity and my best writing and my best work. Lately, I've been really leaning into the creative parts of my job, and I really, really love those parts. And just like trying to do some of the other stuff so I don't get fired, you know? And then, essentially, I was doing our member newsletter, and there's so many different parts to the newsletter. I'm like putting in parts about, you know, all the different events that are coming up, and the new programming for next month, and, you know, things happening in the immediate area, and blah, 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 you know, just like so much. And like, I was like writing beautiful things about Juneteenth and like pride, and like, oh, just like the Y celebrates all people, and just like being so amazing, and just like having my fucking moment. And then, all right, well, you better speed up, baby. You better hit the gas, little baby. Sorry, just letting someone enter onto the freeway in front of me. So yeah, I was just like, woo woo, and then I was like checking something. I was like basically almost done. It took me hours. It was looking gorgeous. I found this adorable fucking picture of a heart. It said the Y on it, and it had a bunch of all the different inclusive colors of the LGBTQIA plus inclusive flag, whatever. And then a bunch of different kinds of people below it, like cute little Muslims and black and white people, and like blah blah blah, just like being cute. It was a little cartoon. It was so pretty and cute, and I loved it. And I was like, why does the one that I uploaded to my newsletter look a little blurry? Maybe I got a weird version, because I was literally just stealing it off of another Y's website. But it's like, you can tell it's like programming material for all of the Y's, so I can use that. And I went to like go to one window, and I went to click back on my window, and I clicked on the X for the tab, and I closed the program I was using to create our newsletter, and it does not save. And I was like, you're kidding. You're absolutely kidding. I was like, wait, don't panic, don't freak out, don't be upset. There's got to be a way to like edit undo. And on Google Chrome, or whatever the fuck I was using, I think I was using Chrome, there's no like thing at the top. There's no like file, edit. I was like, can I just edit undo? Edit undo, edit undo, open that tab back up. And then I Google, how can you recover like a window or a tab that you've closed by accident? And it says like hit Control Shift T or something, and it'll pop right back up. And I was just like, oh my god. But I had already done a bunch of fucking dumb shit between like Googling that and recovery. So like every time I'd hit it, another window would pop up from something else I had done, but that one window didn't open up. And I'm afraid that if it had, it wouldn't have had the information saved. And I was just like, oh, fuck me. Sorry, I just realized that I can't turn. God damn it. What the fuck? Everything is closed. Everything. There's like 5 or 6 different road construction sites around that are closed, that have closed the roads mostly or completely, and they're all interfering with my like way to get home and like get to work. It's like, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I literally am like so fucking sick of the amount of road construction that's happening in this neck of the woods. I'm happy for the roads, but it'll be like all summer long they'll shut down a road and you're just like, so I can't use it all summer? Oh my god. Like, oh my god. And then sometimes there'll be like a long strip of road and they'll like fix it so fast, and other times it'll be like a tiny chunk of road and it'll take them literally like 5 months, and you're just like, what is the difference here? Are you doing something that I don't know about? I mean, most definitely yes, but like, is there something that makes this project more complex than other projects? I don't know. Can you just fix the road and get done with it? Like, I literally, and then the other night I was like, not only was there construction, but like I was on my way to work and I got stopped at a train crossing because a train had gone across the road and then just like stalled out or some shit. And I was going to work at like, I don't know, 10:30 or something, 11 a.m. And when I was driving home at like 8 or 8:30, it was still fucking there. Like, the train just stopped and blocked a road for like an entire day. I was like, what in the fuck is happening? And there's probably something on that train that I really need, you know, like, it's probably full of butt plugs or something, you know. I don't really need any more butt plugs. I already have 2 that I never use. But yes. Scary. So now I'm backtracking to try to take a different route because I literally they just blocked off an entire entrance, or not an entrance, but a intersection that I was just at that had previously been only partially blocked off. Now it's fully blocked off, and it's right next to the entrance to a state park where people like regularly go and camp and stuff. So it's just like, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna be fine. Every day now my boss says, please don't quit. Are you gonna quit? Are you thinking about quitting? And it's so funny because I am. I am thinking about quitting. I am thinking about getting a better paying job. I'm gonna start applying to jobs. I just need to make more money, and I've been saying that for fucking ever. And I just want life to be easier, you know. I think I've gotten to a really good place where I'm like really frugal and really responsible with my money and stuff, but it's like, if you don't have enough money to pay all your bills, and like be able to eat and shit, then it's kind of hard to budget. It's kind of hard to budget when you don't have enough for like the bare minimum, you know, the bare necessities. Bare necessities, a simple good thing I don't know the words, because I would I'd probably be violating something. Disney would kill me. Okay, so I've also been like fighting off some kind of a throat infection and like an impacted wisdom tooth or something. Like, I'm just not about it. So I'm going home to finish. I'm gonna go. Hopefully my genius brain will retain all of the different things that I had put into this newsletter, and I can make it just as good, if not better. I know I can make it just as good. Let's hope I can make it even better. Fucking A. I'm gonna go home and, oh my god, it's so funny. My roommate, the other day I was like working on something on my laptop, And my new roommate, who's like an intern at General Motors, was like, oh, are you doing work? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh. He's like, you do work at home? And I was like, yeah, sometimes I have to do work at home too, because, you know, I got to get the work done, and I didn't get it done at work. So he's like, oh, wow. He just acted like that was so crazy. I was like, well, you know, that's what it's like to be a salaried employee. And, you know, I'm also a director, and I have staff. Like, so there's all these things I got to get done ahead of time or whatever. And he was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I had to go do an event for my job, and he was like, how was your day? And I was like, it was okay. I had to go to this event or whatever. He's like, oh, is that what you mean the thing you were working on the other night? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you remember you were working the other night on your computer? Is that what you were working for this event? And I was like, no. No, you're going to see me working a lot on my computer at home. And it's not for one thing. It's for a lot of things. It's just kind of funny. I'm like, yeah. You're just an intern right now. You know? Maybe he's not being given assignments to work on at home. But I guarantee once he's a salaried employee, he's going to have shit to do. And I don't know, maybe it's different if you're an engineer at GM. Maybe you maybe you only work at work and you go home and you have your own time. But I have a very intrusive job. Working for nonprofits is like very intrusive. You kind of like breathe and dream and eat and drink work, and it's really fun. Yeah, very fun. So I wanted to talk about a few things. I want to be more creative, and I'm applying to some jobs. One of the jobs is through my same organization, and it is for a more creative position. And I'm very excited about that. It would be a little bit less sales. I can't say that it would be 100% zero sales, but it would be less sales. And I'm excited to get away from sales. I'm excited to not be responsible for numbers. Although with this new job, I still might be responsible for numbers. I think the thing is like if you have a director role, you're responsible for something. You're either responsible for your staff, or you're responsible for numbers, or you're responsible for outcomes. It's just like you're going to be held responsible. And maybe I just have to get over that, because I want to be working in jobs where I make more money. Podcasting isn't paying me shit yet. But I have hope. And you know what? If I never made money podcasting, I think I'd still do it, because I just really like it. I'm terrified that podcasting won't be popular anymore. But I'm also terrified that podcasting is so popular that there's literally like an oversaturation of podcasts. And like, I don't know, there's a lot of good ones. Like, I don't know that I even like can compete with a lot of podcasts. There's some like really good podcasts. I was listening to an abortion podcast last night by this couple of OBGYNs. It's called Outlawed, and they have 2 seasons, and every episode they have a different specialist on to talk about like the literal facts behind everything related to abortion. And I literally was just like learning so much, and sitting there as my little white liberal self. Like, that's how I wind down at the end of the day. I lay down on the couch, I pop open a LaCroix, and I listen to podcasts about abortion. Because I ran out of podcasts about the Holocaust, you know? I listened to a 4 or 5 part special about Heinrich Himmler. Oh no, it was about, was it Himmler? Heinrich Himmler? Was it about Goebbels? I can never remember. Maybe I can listen to it again. Maybe I'll completely forget and I can just listen to it again. Sounds good. But yeah, that's my idea of a good time. I just love learning. And I especially love learning about history that's like not good. And I just like to be like, you know what, everyone? Like, don't fucking lie. Don't fucking lie about history. Like, history is fucking fascinating and it's full of like crazy shit. And, you know, I know people are ashamed of their ancestors' participation in some pretty bad stuff. And they like want to deny it, but it's like, no. You can't just not teach history, right? Or you can't just like teach fake history. You have to literally teach, or like in abridged history, like we're only going to teach white history. It's like, no. We want to hear black history. We want to hear brown history. We want all the histories. History. So anyway, love that shit. Oh my god. I am recording at a different time than my previous recording. I'm only telling you that because there may be a noticeable difference in my sound quality with my voice, because I still like a little sick. It's not too bad. I think it's like a semi-allergy cold, but I just taught a fitness class, and I was like yelling the whole thing and losing my voice the whole time. And I have like those tickles where you get a tickle in the back of your throat, and you literally, it's so close to your vocal cords that like when you get it, you have to just like shut the fuck up. Like I've literally had that tickle when I'm like trying to talk to a customer, and I've like been coughing, and like it's always on the left side for some reason. My left eye will start to tear to the point where I'm like it's like I'm bawling out of one eye. And that makes me think I have to talk about Hamnet. But it's so weird when you're like having a tickle or a cough, and the people you're talking to, you're like, I'm so sorry, I have a tickle in my throat, and they go like, oh, it's okay, so anyway, and they're just continuing, and you're like, I'm so sorry, can you excuse me? Like, can you not make me excuse myself? Can you say to me, oh sweetheart, take a moment, go get some water or something, and we'll be right here, it's fine. Can you do that? Can you be compassionate? It sometimes is hard when you're working to let a person know, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I need a moment. You know, my body is failing me right now. You know, it would just be so nice if a customer was like, oh sweetheart, take a moment, why don't you grab a sip of water, and we'll just wait here, you know. I feel like that's what I might do. After working in customer service my whole life, I might, if a person working for me or with me had a moment and they needed to just like, if they just had a tickle, I might just be like, oh sweetheart, do you want like a lozenge? Do you want like some water? And like maybe that's the customer service in me, trying to like customer service my customer servicer. Like, and I do that shit all the time. Sorry, that was a bumpy road. I thought it was going to be a lot bumpier, actually. The only thing that got me through it was making those noises. By the way, masturbating or having sex with a lot of vocalization is so hot. I think I'm a fucking gooner. I think I'm fucking Goonie Goon Patrol. I literally I love making noise. I love breathing, like panting. I love rhythmic breathing while I'm coming. Oh my god, it's so good. All of my roommates and my landlords were out I think last week or something, last weekend, and I was just like, just like whatever. I probably don't sound like that, but whatever needed to happen happened, and it was just like, that was really good. Quiet orgasms, bad. If you're having quiet orgasms, you need to try it the other way. You're gonna be so much happier. When you're watching like gay for pay porn and the guy is just like he just lets out a little breath and just like a little drib comes out, and you're like, I hope they paid you a lot, because that was so sad. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm like on a tangent. What was I talking about right before that? Oh, the tickle in the throat. I was at a meeting with my it was like the lead staff of my association branch. We were having our weekly leadership meeting, and we were missing like one director because he was busy with his programs. It was me and my boss, and then like a couple other directors, and our business office manager, and our supervisor for the Welcome Center. We were all meeting, and we were sitting at a table. We had already been displaced because it's camp season, and like the camp is all over the building and using every room, blah blah blah. It's a lot. But essentially we couldn't be in the room we usually meet in because they were doing camp shit. And so we were meeting in the lobby at a table, and we were meeting at a time when this group of moms with their toddlers and, you know, smaller kids they usually like to meet, and they like to chit chat while the kids eat lunch. They like bring a little lunch, and the moms socialize and the kids eat lunch, and it's a really cute thing. And I actually think it's great that they do it, aside from the fact that sometimes they get a little bit crazy loud, the kids do, and the moms don't seem to do fuck all about it, which I'm obviously I would be a different kind of parent. I almost said I am a different kind of parent, but I'm not a parent, apparently. So, and then maybe like a couple times they left shit behind, and I was like, really? You're gonna fucking leave cracker crumbs? Come on. What do we look like, a fucking picnic bunch of ants? Okay. So, essentially, we're at this one table. We're actually at the table that group would usually sit at, and they all approached the table next to us, and the kids were already being so fucking loud, and I literally was just like, I take the minutes in our meetings because it's the only way I can focus on the meeting. I like need that. I need like a task, because the meetings get really fucking boring. I mean, I can focus, but the meetings are boring, so I like to have something to do. And then I can look up things in real time that we're talking about if we need context, or if we need like, you know, something, if we need to reference something. So anyway, essentially I'm sitting there, I just like literally, the mantra in my head is, are you fucking serious? Get a fucking clue. The kids are sitting down at the table, they're being so loud. The moms are kind of awkwardly standing next to the table, and they're kind of like looking over at us, looking at each other, and it's like this thing where they're like, ooh, and no one wants to say anything. And like, they're just standing there, and none of my fellow lead staff are saying a fucking thing. I can tell probably at least one or two of my coworkers are like annoyed like I am, but they're not showing it, and I'm just like, my face just looks like deadpan, are you fucking serious? And I'm not looking at them at all. They're kind of like behind me to my left, so they couldn't see my face, but I'm just literally like, get a fucking clue. And also like, rein it in, bitch. Like, rein in your fucking loud ass kid. Like, you're not outside, and you're not at your house. This is a public place. And yes, it is a place for families. And it's not strange to have a loud child or loud children here, but this is a place of business, and we're literally doing a meeting right now. We're literally out here having a meeting, talking about like important things for running this branch. Like, get a fucking clue, people. And finally one of the moms goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Are we going to be disturbing you guys if we're right here?" And of course my boss is like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Like, we're in the middle of camp. Like, we're used to like lots of kids, noise, all that." And they're like, "Oh my God, are you sure?" And I'm just like, "No, go somewhere else. Get a fucking clue. Like, if you feel awkward, yeah, you probably should go fucking somewhere else." You know what I mean? Like, listen to that voice. Listen to that voice that's like, "Oh, this is weird. Maybe we shouldn't," you know? So that was another thing I thought of, similar to the coughing with customers. Like, just like, have a little bit of compassion. If you have a voice inside your head that's like telling you, "Hey, you know, that person's a human, you know, maybe treat them okay, maybe treat them well," you know. If you feel like maybe you're mistreating a person or acting in a way that is entitled or stupid, if you feel like you're imposing, if you feel like you're being inappropriate, if you feel like, you know, if you feel like you're not doing something that's right, do the opposite. You know what I mean? Just be like, "Oh, this little voice is telling me that I need to get the fuck out." You don't need to ask another person, "Oh, is this okay?" Because it probably isn't. Just listen to your inner voice a bit more. Don't ignore it. It will not lead you astray. It'll help you from looking like a fucking idiot. And just like, don't be so out of touch. Just be a little bit more in touch, you know? At least that one mom asked, but it didn't really need to be asked. She should have just said, "Hey guys, I think that like they're having a meeting here, so maybe we should like go somewhere else." And my boss did say, "Well, you know, if you wanted to, if you feel like you might disturb us, like there's a table over there in the other part of the lobby, or like you can go down to the lounge. We have a lounge downstairs." And they were like, "Oh," and I get it. They like have their spot. They like this spot. It's by the window. It's like bright and cheery and like, but it is like right in front of my employees who are working every week. Even when we're not having a meeting, it's like right in front of our welcome center. And yeah, when we're trying to answer phones and handle, you know, customers that come up to the desk, when your kids are screaming in between like throwing crackers on the floor, yeah, get it to fucking together, or take your child home. You know, it's hard for me to say shit like that because I don't have a kid, and I want parents to be able to socialize, and I want kids to be able to socialize, but it's not okay unless your kid is like has some kind of like autism or neurodivergence, and they like have tics, or they make loud noises. Like, if they can't help it, that's different, right? I don't expect you to like go home, lock them up, and never leave the house. I expect, though, when you have a child who can control their volume, that you say to them, "Hey, honey, shut the fuck up, or we're gonna go home. Stop screaming, or we're leaving right now." You know? And then if the kid doesn't stop screaming, you leave right now. You don't like, you don't tell them, "You're doing this, here's the punishment," and then not follow through. You have to follow through. They have to know that they chose wrong, and now this is what's fucking happening. Because otherwise they grow up to be Elon Musk. I'm sorry. They grow up to be terrible, right? So there are consequences in life. And here's the other thing. Newsflash. Well, this world ain't fair, bitch. So it's like, oh, you got a cookie and they didn't get a cookie? Yeah. There's not enough cookies all the time for everyone to have one. Or they got a cookie and you didn't get one and you're crying about it. Buck up, bitch. There's not enough cookies sometimes. You know? Sometimes you have to give away your cookie and you don't get one, but you're literally sacrificing your cookie for someone else. You know? Your cookie. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't know how long this episode's going to be. I might not have a voice for much longer. I did want to mention a couple of things. I did something really icky, really cringy just a little bit ago. I was talking to this woman who I really like, and she just is she's really nice to talk to. It's almost like when you talk to her, it's kind of like taking a drink of purified water. You're just like, oh, that was nice. That was really nice. Not like freezing cold, just like, you know, slightly cool. She's just like, she has really pretty eyes, and she's just really nice, and she just seems like really down to earth, and like she doesn't seem to have any judgment at all. She has 4 sons, and they've all been homeschooled. And she's one of these people who kind of changes maybe the way I think about homeschooled families, because obviously I have not a very good opinion of homeschooled families. I really just think, like, I get it if you don't think our public school system is good enough, because, honey, there ain't no money in it. They're not funding it, so I get it. But I am also like, at the same time, we do have some really good educators that work their asses off. And, you know, if they were supported better, if they were treated better, they were paid better, that kind of thing, you know, they would be able to do their jobs a lot better. And if we just like all work on making our public schools what they should be, I think that's where the focus should be. But if you want to say, we're not going to wait around for that, we're just going to do our own thing. And if you honestly feel like you can teach your kids better, but if you're leaving shit out, if you're like, no, we're not going to teach our kids American history, where there's like, you know, talk about white people perpetrating slavery on people of color and black people and whatever. You're just going to leave out the history of America as it pertains to like non-white people. No, that's fucking dumb. That's fucking dumb. If you're like, well, I don't want my kids to go to public school because they're fag enablers, and the teachers are grooming my kids to be fags. It's like, okay, well, you should definitely build a bunker, get inside, and then we'll just cement it shut, you know? Bye-bye, you know? So I do have some negative ideas about it. But there's also parents who, like, they really have decided the husband is going to work, or maybe the wife's going to work. I think we have some of those families too. And one parent is going to stay at the house. Sorry, I just blanked. What is it called? The homestead. And teach the kids. And I do think that even if you're choosing to homeschool, there's like certain like touch points you have to hit on. Like there's certain laws that say that you have to be at this level by this point, you know, with this education. Maybe, I'm not really sure. It might be like the supplement industry. It might be like grossly unregulated. But I do think that there's probably some good homeschool families. This woman is just so nice, and her kids are all very nice. Husband's pretty nice. They're all very quiet, but she'll just be like, "Hi, Drew," and I'll be like, "Hi, how are you doing?" So I was having a very long conversation with her, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, they're homeschooled, so they might be crazy Christians. They might be super weird. They could be any kind of Christian, but my assumption is that they are Christian. Although I do know another family who's homeschooled, and they don't seem very Christian. They seem very secular, or just like maybe it's not a huge part of their life. It's just like normal people. I think normal people go to church sometimes and not all the time, because that's what I did. But I also think that there are some homeschooled families that are fucking crazy religious, right? So that's what I fear. So anyway, I was talking about just random shit, shooting the shit with this lady, and she was not walking away. There was no end to this conversation. There was no, like, from her end, there was no, like, oh, we gotta be done, I gotta go, we gotta do this. She was just like, I got all the time in the world, what the fuck, you know? And I was just like, okay, so if this is gonna end, and I'm enjoying this conversation, but I get nervous, especially if I'm at work. I get nervous if this conversation's gone on too long. And I honestly, like, I start to get a little nervous, and then I end up sometimes saying something really fucking weird, and then I have to, like, save myself. I get really fucking weird. And I also know that even when I'm talking to people I know, at some point I say something that's, like, gonna make everyone go, oh, okay, we're done. And then it's like, oh, thank God. Because, like, even then, not like when I really know people, because when I really know people, they know that I'm going to say outrageous things. Sometimes they're just going to be like, oh my God, Drew, stop, whatever. Okay, whatever. Let's drink more. And sometimes my friends like how outrageous I am, you know, that they've chosen to be friends with me because of that. But sometimes, like in meetings with my colleagues and stuff, they're like, okay, well, we're moving on. Drew's just said the craziest shit. And I do that almost because I'm like, I literally could talk forever if you don't stop me. And so sometimes I fucking, I almost said I lay a bomb. I lay an egg bomb. I just go like, bleh, and then like, and then people stop me because I've just outdone myself, you know? And I do that subconsciously to end a conversation all the time. It's very funny. I'm not sure if I've reached that understanding about myself through some kind of self-therapy, and like I feel like I need to change that part of me. I think it's a very useful tool to have. And I've even called myself out to those people. I will say something outrageous, and I'll be like, sorry, you weren't stopping me, and I kind of felt like this conversation had to end, so I said it. And then they're like, well, good, and we're glad. That's awesome. You know, that was the good tactic. So this woman, I was getting a little nervous. It was like, and at some point I had to say like, oh, well, anyway, I got to get home and make dinner. But she was just so relatable. I said, I'm lucky if I get dinner before 10 o'clock sometimes. And she's like, oh my God, I know, it's hard. And I was like, what? I was like, you're like a stay-at-home homeschool mom of 4 boys. You have a hard time getting dinner on the table by 10? I was like, hold on, lady. I like you. You're like cool. What's going on? So I was just kind of getting nervous, and then I assumed that she was Christian, because I do that, and I think it's a fear I have from living in the South, because the majority of the time, if I tried to say something, I was like, whoops, I am not saying this to the right person right now, you know, because most people did not want. That was weird. I just saw like red lights flashing on the tree behind me, but I was not stepping on my brakes. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was the passing car or something. Most people in the South that I would talk to, I'm assuming, would be either centrist or conservative, religious, Republican, you know, any of that. And you really just have to kind of like be careful what you said. And even the people a lot of times that I would assume were more progressive, they'd be more centrist, and then they'd be like, well, that's not fair. I mean, my current boss says shit like that all the time. I'll say something that's like very much like a very well-known like epithet of conservative Republican Christians, and then my boss will say something like, you know, well, that's really not fair for you to stereotype like that. And you're like, you're saying that to a person that's been discriminated against by these types of people. So like, I apologize if I'm a little bitter, you know what I mean? And of course my boss, like, I mean, maybe she was discriminated against for being a woman, but she's literally like a white, blonde, upper middle class, like, woman. She did lose her father a little too young. She was in college, so that sucks. So she does have some hardship that she knows, but like, anytime I say anything that's like rooted in the fact that I've been in this life as like a fat ginger queer. And the other thing is when I say, oh, so-and-so's gay, and she'll be like, what? How do you know? Did they tell you? I'll be like, no, I just know. You don't know. How do you know someone's gay? Like, I'm like, I'm so sorry, Katie, if you don't know about gaydar. You know, it's not that like we have this secret power. It's that like we literally have to exist in a world where we can like pick up on very subtle things in order to like operate on the DL. You know, we really do. Even if you're like an outwardly gay person, like you have to like, and that's why it's getting so hard, because younger generations are literally putting down a lot of shit, and you're like, in my day, you would definitely be gay, and nowadays, I don't know, because you just like were coming onto me hardcore, and you're on a date with a woman right now, and you told me you only like women, and I was like, okay, like that's literally happened to me. So yeah, talking to this woman, homeschool mom, she's super cool, having a good conversation, but I actually did need to leave work. I stayed at work like more than an hour past what I should have. And at some point she mentioned that her two oldest sons were doing like construction work this summer for money, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy, that's hardcore. I mentioned that my brother once worked for a concrete company. I mentioned that my other brother was a painter, my dad was a contractor, and I was like trying to say like, I've really considered being like an interior designer or doing something like that, or staging homes or whatever. And she's like, that could be your hobby. That could be really cool, right? You could like stage homes for people, blah, blah, blah. Because I mentioned I don't have a hobby. I just work all the time. And we were just like, I'm gonna say, we were having a good conversation. Like if this was outside of the workplace, this could be like a friendship, or maybe, I don't know. And so I was already feeling weird, like saying I was interested in maybe being an interior designer, because I felt like, oh, that's the gayest thing you could say. I was just already feeling like I maybe shouldn't say anything too gay. And then I brought up, I have a niece who is a mental health counselor, but she and her fiance, I said, really are interested in one day like getting into flipping houses. Like they're interested in buying real estate, making it look really good, and then selling it for more and flipping it, you know, whatever. I just described flipping. And I was like, when I heard that they were interested in that, I was like, that's something I've always wanted to do. I think that sounds really fun. And then I was like, and my other niece has just got really good style and really good taste. Maya's her name. You guys know her. And I was like, me and Maya could be like the style ones. But then I started wanting to say, like, my niece's fiance is interested now in doing some like more like home construction stuff, or like interiors, or like, you know, getting into painting and maybe drywalling and like learning more about that. And I kind of panicked. At some point I was like, I'm either about to say that my niece is engaged to be married to a woman, or I'm going to just keep calling it her fiance, or I'm going to say like, you know, like let me talk about this. Let me give you an example. Like, my niece has a fiance who's really interested in painting, and they are actually interested in painting with my brother. But see, then at that point I have to say they, or I have to say my niece's fiance is really interested in painting with my brother. My niece's fiance wants to go into construction, and my niece's fiance, like, I literally have to say my niece's fiance or the fiance every time if I'm not going to gender them. And if I say them, then it makes it sound non-binary, so I'm already exposing something different. And she does not use they, them pronouns, so it's like very unnecessary. But I literally panicked. And in that moment, I just started using he, him pronouns for her. I was just like, yeah, my niece's fiance, he is really interested in doing this. And yeah, I think he's like blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh God. It just was really gross. And I felt just kind of dumb. And now I feel dumber talking about it, but I guess I should share. Okay, one more thing. You guys all need to see the movie Hamnet. If you haven't already seen it, I found out it's not in theaters anymore. I think Jane Fonda was saying in like some award show, like, everyone has to see Hamnet, it was so good. That's like what made me want to do movies, is movies like this. Like, this is a really good, beautiful film or whatever, and it is really good. And I don't give a shit about Shakespeare really, but Hamnet is about Shakespeare and his like wife and his children, and what kind of led up to him writing Hamlet, and like I don't know if this is based in fact or whatever, but like the parallels between what happened in his life with his children and the actual writing of Hamlet. They just kind of like are saying, I guess, in the film that like this is what created, you know, a lot of what Hamlet was about, is like what happened in their lives. I don't want to give away too much, but it's so good. And if anyone knows anything about the history of Shakespeare's family, like, you might already know what all of that happened. But it was just a really good film, really well made. I definitely watch it again. And there was some really beautiful, sad scenes that probably should have made me cry. And I was just a little bit like, aw. Didn't really cry, but the end is just really good. I think it's too soon to give away any like spoilers, but let me just say that as a performer, the way that it ended, it really gave power to performers. It really was like this idea that like art and artists are on the sidelines, and their art has been, I think it's been accepted as like really important and integral for society, but like it oftentimes is the first thing to lose funding, and you know, a lot of very serious pragmatic people think that like there's no reason for art. We really just need like math and science, and we must have football. You know, and so it is art and music, all that kind of shit is like theater. They get kind of cut first when there's budget issues, you know, and it is really hard to be an artist. It always has been. Artists oftentimes have to get funding from somebody else, somebody rich, to be able to do their art, and they can't always make a living from their art easily, so here's my landlords. Bye, hi. I'm waving at them. So in the movie, I don't know how to describe it, but the movie, like, it shows like a family being compassionate of the fact that this man had one thing he was supposed to do, and that was like he was supposed to like make a living doing this very alternative thing, and they really believed in him and allowed him to do that. But then when things got kind of tough, how important those things were to him became kind of challenged by like real life situations. And it appeared like the character playing Shakespeare was kind of retreating into his work when like bad things happened. But then we find out that it was like how he was able to express the emotions he felt about those bad things in his life. So it's just like, and then just like the connections, oh my God, the connections, the breaking of the, what is it, the third or the fourth wall, I can never remember. Oh my God, it was just so good. I actually was ugly crying. Like I was like like way louder than any orgasm I've ever had. And also in the same weekend that I was like coming loud, I was also crying loud. I really need to live alone. It would be so beneficial. And I actually rewound to before the beginning of that last scene so I could watch it again, and cried my fucking ass off a second time. It is so good. So well done. Jessie Buckley, Paul Mescal is wonderful, but Jessie Buckley in this movie, it's funny because the way that they did it, you know, it's not really about William Shakespeare. He's not even the protagonist. I feel like his wife is the protagonist. And in fact, because I always have the subtitles on all the time, I don't even think they called him in the subtitles. I never think they would say like, you know, they say the name of who's speaking and then the line, right? They used her name. Her name is Agnes. They used the kids' names, everything, all the people, but they didn't actually use. They didn't ever say like William or William Shakespeare. It always said the husband. And it's not until later when they go to the theater where he was producing his play that they even said like, we're here as guests or something. And they're like, who are you the guest of? And they said like, we're here to see William Shakespeare. Like that was the first time they even used that name. So it's not about him, which I think is really cool. And Paul Mescal was actually kind of like I don't know if his name is Mezcal or Mescal. I want to say Mezcal because it sounds like tequila. He's kind of like a supporting role. I don't know if you would say he's a lead, she's a lead, but it almost looks like he was a supporting role and she was it. And she does just, what a fucking phenomenal actor. I've seen her in a lot of things, but she was so good. And then just some of the symbolism, the imagery. There's no wonder why they won an Oscar. It was really good. I don't know what they won the Oscar for. I'm assuming best film, but anyway, that's all I have to say this week. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're not sick. I could definitely be sicker. I'm not upset. I've been able to go to work. I'm just kind of starting to have issues talking, but you know, such is life. I'm getting a tickle. Oh my God, of course. Will you guys be a little bit compassionate and just fucking press like stop or next? Why are you making me continue this? Why are you such assholes? I hope that you rate, review, subscribe. I hope you send emails to makesensewithmepodcast@gmail.com. And we're going to get Maya on here soon. And maybe my mom. Wouldn't that be cool? I hope you're filling your holes with mommy. No, not at all. But definitely whatever makes you happy. Bye-bye. Motherfucker. That might be the name of the episode. Motherfucker. Mama drama. Mama llamas dramas. Mama.